A portion of this video is brought to you by Sheath Underwear. For more information about Sheath, visit the link in the description below or wait till the end of this video to hear more about them from me. If there was information, if there was evidence of the claim that there's fraud, she would have provided it out of the binder. Or over the course of the last 10 years, at any day, at any time, they would have provided this evidence. They never do. All they do say is, trust me, bro. What's the saying? What's the joke? What's the meme that, do you want to see a dead body? Because I don't know how I would put it, but Karoline Leavitt got absolutely buried yesterday during the press briefing before the election night got underway when being asked about their plans to rig the elections upcoming. They didn't know what the outcome would be last night, but they had an idea, and there are now concerted effort. There's a concerted strategy underway to interfere in elections that go beyond the power of the presidency. In our Constitution, the same document that Donald Trump multiple times has sworn an oath to, the same document that every single member of the House of Representatives and the Senate has raised their right hand and swore a solemn vow to protect and defend. That same document outlines that states set the rules for their elections. Just because they're federal elections doesn't mean the federal government runs them. This is part of the breakdown and the separation of powers between the different multiple branches, the checks and balances, and the states. The 10th Amendment, that any power that is not specifically granted to the federal government or specifically not granted to the states, it's for the states. That's a paraphrase of the 10th Amendment. And that's not good enough for Republicans when they want to steal elections. That's not good enough for Republicans and Donald Trump when they want to rig elections because they can't win on the merit of their ideas. They have to cheat and steal. And this was brought to Karoline Leavitt by a reporter being asked about this particular thing, about, let's get to the question, because I always like to really drive home what the question was so you could see what the answer was and that they don't answer the question. Donald Trump is talking about the California elections being rigged, and that's the only way Prop 50 would pass. And Karoline Leavitt, the question is, and what does it mean that mail-in ballots in the state are under legal and criminal review? Because Donald Trump has talked about that there's a criminal case underway, that they are reviewing in a criminal nature an investigation fraud in California. That question just never even gets answered. This is a remarkable clip that we will break down on the other side, and I'm going to really want your feedback on this, especially if you live in the great state of California, the state in which I lived for over a decade before I moved here to Washington, D.C. 3 or 4 years ago. Watch this just drubbing of Karoline Leavitt.
Sure.
Karoline, the president posted on True Social that the voting underway in California is, quote, rigged. What evidence does he have of that, and what does it mean that mail-in ballots in that state are under legal and criminal review? By whom and why? And also, in this vein, does the White House still plan to issue an executive order banning mail-in voting, and what legal authority do you have to do that?
The White House is working on an executive order to strengthen our elections in this country and to ensure that there cannot be blatant fraud, as we've seen in California with their universal mail-in voting system. It's absolutely true that there's fraud in California's elections. It's just a fact. It is just a fact. They have a universal mail-in voting system, which we know is ripe for fraud. And if you want to deny that, I'm happy to provide you all of the evidence for it. I'd be glad to send that to you after this briefing.
Rigged.
Fraudulent ballots that are being mailed in the names of other people, in the names of illegal aliens who shouldn't be voting in American elections. There's countless examples, and we'd be happy to provide them. As for executive action the White House is taking, yes, we are looking into that. And like any executive order, of course, any executive order the president signs is within his full executive authority and within the confines of the law. Stephen.
certainly not within the confines of the law, certainly not within the confines of the law, any executive order that Donald Trump signs. And we know that because many, many federal judges have overturned his executive orders as overreach. Many. It has happened many times, almost every time when there's anything that comes before us of any import at all. But when she says it's just a fact, it's just a fact. It's so emblematic of this administration that they don't want to provide due process for people that they arrest, that they detain, that they ship out of the country, because in due process, you have to provide evidence. You have to provide proof. You can't just say, trust me, bro. And that's what they want. It's the trust me, bro administration. She says, it's just a fact. And if you want to deny that, I'm happy to provide you all of the evidence. Spoiler alert. That evidence was not delivered. Narrator would say, in fact, she did not provide the evidence. She's got a binder filled with information, with facts and data and statistics before her. When she comes to a question in the press briefing room that she needs a little help on, she thumbs through the tabs to get to the section to read the specific data that justifies their decisions. Whether that be skewed data or not, she's got the information in front of her. If there was information, if there was evidence of the claim that there's fraud, she would have provided it out of the binder. If there was voluminous evidence, they would have provided it in the moment, or yesterday, or over the course of the last 10 years, at any day, at any time, they would have provided this evidence. They never do. All they do say is, trust me, bro. Not good enough. Not good enough when the president of the United States is the most storied, record-breaking liar that we've ever had in politics in America. And that includes George Santos, the newly pardoned or had his sentence commuted individual. Donald Trump is a record-setting liar, a demagogue, a fascist. He is not to be trusted. His emissaries and representatives and spokeswomen are not to be trusted. They are liars, all of them. If you have evidence, bring the evidence. Tell us what it is. We'll be waiting. We won't hold our breath waiting, because then we would die, because you're a liar and there is no evidence of any of this. Anyway, what do you think? Again, I'd love to know. If you live in California, please sound off in the comments below. You can also call the voicemail line and leave me a brief. Please keep them brief. Google will cut you off at 3 minutes anyway, but if you can get one in at like a minute 20, all the better. There's only so much coffee in the morning that I can drink while listening to your voicemails. And when they're super long, it makes it difficult for me. Yes, this is me whining. Yes, this is me whining. Anyway, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. Anyway, I love and appreciate you very much. If you feel the same way about me, it doesn't have to rise to the level of love or adulation, just mild appreciation. If I bring you value, consider supporting this work as I get messed with by NBC and large corporate networks trying to shut down the message here in service to Donald Trump. I believe this time in independent media in the history of our country and the future for what we do is more important than ever, and I could use your support. For $2 a month, you can become a channel member on YouTube. Click the join button below the video, or even better, you can go to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. I love and appreciate you very much. Once again, I'll see you next time. Be genuine and take care of one another. It is absolutely difficult to keep a cool head in this political climate, especially with the added aggravation of these overheated outdoor temperatures. How can you be expected to conduct any clear-headed discourse with your drawers in a sweaty soup? My go-to for keeping things cool, sheath underwear. I'm wearing a pair right now, and let me tell you, it's like nighttime in the desert down there, all day long. Head to sheath.com and use promo code Dollemore to score 20% off and upgrade yourself to the most comfortable underwear that you'll ever wear. How do they differ from your average boxers? Well, let me tell you. Invented by a U.S. Army veteran while serving a tour in Iraq, Sheath's boxer fabric is designed with a moisture-wicking technology. Their underwear features a unique dual pouch system that keeps all your man parts comfortably separated instead of sticking together. We all know the feeling of the old eggs getting stuck to the pan, if you know what I mean. My favorites are the airflow meshes, which seem especially equipped to handle my thighs, bigger thighs. But Sheath has also tons of other fabric options and designs that you can get into. And I'm clearly not the only one singing the praises out there. Sheath are recommended by multiple doctors and urologists and have over 20,000 5-star reviews. Also, Sheath supports multiple charities like Socks for Soldiers and Doctors Without Borders. So while you're upgrading your undies, you can be making the world a more upstanding place too. It's tough to focus on draining the swamp when you are swampy mess yourself. Sheath's boxers will help you keep the temperature down by bringing up the level of comfortability. Score 20% off right now at sheath.com and use promo code Dollemore.